I get devach. So I'll tell you, Maisa, there was one time where the great Baal Tanya, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, so he was having a Farbrengen amongst the Chassidim, and the Baal Tanya in the middle of the Farbrengen turned to the Chassidim, and he said, let me tell you about the Pashada Amunah, the simple faith of an old Ukrainian Jew. That's what the Baal Tanya said. So it's like the Amunah of a simple Ukrainian Jew. So the Chassidim are listening. So Tanya says that when he was younger, so in his younger years, when he was a student, he was a chassid of the Mezritch Maggid, the great Maggid of Mezritch. So the Baal Tanya said that when he was younger, there was a certain point in time where he was traveling back and forth from his city to Mezritch to learn by the Tzadikim, to learn by the Rebbe. And he said one time he was traveling to his Rebbe, and it was in the dead of winter, and it was a very difficult journey. It was extremely cold, extremely difficult to manage. It was a very, very tiring and exhausting journey. And so the Baal Tanya said that along the way, him and the people that he was with, he had to stop off at a kretschmann, at a hotel, at an inn, a little tiny shtetl, and just sort of, to sort of rest and to recuperate, to be able to have the strength to go on to the next leg of the journey, to get to Mezritch. So Baal Tanya says that he gets into this hotel, and he comes with his bags and everything like that. And he wasn't a known person at the time. He was he was a young Baal Tanya, but he wasn't well known. And so he goes into the kretschmann, and he notices an old Jew that's obviously in charge. It seems to be the owner of the establishment. So he goes over to this Yid, and he says that I'm here if I could rent a room for the night. So the Yid says, of course, fine, 100%. And they begin to have a little bit of friendly pleasantries and conversation. So the Baal Boss, the owner of the establishment, says to the Baal Tanya, what's your name? Who are you? What are you doing here? So he says, my name is, Shneur Zalman, and I'm a student of the Mezritch Maggid, and that's why I'm here. I'm on my way to the Tzaddik. So this old Yid says, wow, the Mezritch Maggid, a student of Mezritch Maggid, I didn't realize I'm talking to so-and-so chashiv, so... So the Baal Tanya, in the middle of a conversation, then turns to this old Jew, and they're getting to know each other a little bit. And the Baal Tanya says to him, "So do you live here throughout the year, or you live somewhere else? Like, what's your story?" So the Yid says, "This is where I live. I live in this hotel in this little town. And this is where I live all year. This is my parnassa." So the Baal Tanya asks him, "So how many?" Just in a simple conversation, he says, "So how many Yidden live in this town?" So it was mamash, a small little shtetl, tiny shtetl. So the Yid says, we have about seven or eight Yidden. So Al-Tani says, 7 or 8 Yidden, that's all you have? He said, yeah, that's all we have. So he says, so what about a minyan? You don't have a minyan? So he says, no, we don't have a minyan. So the Baal Tanya says, so that means there's no minyan. The Kriyas Torah, Monday, Thursday, Shabbos, there's no Kriyas Torah? No Kriyas Torah. So he said, any shiurim, there's any rabbanim here that teach you Torah? He says, no. So Al-Tani says, with all due respect, to live in a place where there's no minyan, and there's no Kriyas Torah, and there's no shiurim in learning, how could a Jew live in a place like this? So the Yid says, what am I supposed to do? This is my parnasa. So the Baal Tanya says, listen, let me ask you a question. How many Yidden live in the big city? There was a big city nearby. How many Yidden live in the big city? So the Yid said about 150 Jews. So the Baal Tanya said, if the Rebbeinu Shalom is taking care of the parnasa of 150, you think you would have a hard time with 151? He said it's kedai to maybe think about moving to the big city. You'll be able to have a minyan, learn Torah, listen to Kriyas Torah, be part of a larger community. It'll be better for you. Where the Rebbeinu Shalom takes care of 150, he'll take care of 151. Okay. And that was the back and forth, that was the conversation. Okay, so after that, the Baal Tanya takes the key, he goes to his room that he rented, puts his bags down, goes into the bed, lies down, takes a little nap. About an hour or so later, the Baal Tanya wakes up, and he's woken up really by a huge commotion going on outside his door. So what's going on? So he gets up and he opens the door to see what's going on. And all of a sudden, what does he notice? There's suitcases and luggage and bags and people schlepping. There's like a whole... So he notices his friend, the Baal Boss of the establishment, this elderly Jew. And he goes over to him. He says, Rabbi Yid, what's going on? So he says, what's going on? I'm moving to the big city. Baal Tanya says, what was were you moving? He said, yeah. He said, you're a Talmud of the Mezritch Maggid. It means that you're a tzaddik yourself. And a tzaddik tells me that I have to move to the big city. The Rebbeinu Shalom will take care of my parnasa. That's it. That's what I have to do. So that's why I'm moving. So Baal Tanya has a smile on his face. He's like, You took me seriously, like you're moving today? He said, yeah, I'm moving today. The Rebbe told me what to do, so that's what I'm doing. So Tanya, again, he's saying over this story to his Chassidim, and he says, look at this Pasha Ukrainian Jew. He said, I said those words about Tanya said, that the Rebbeinu Shalom should take, Rebbeinu Shalom takes care of 150 people, he could take care of 151, and a Jew should live amongst the other Yidden, to have a minyan and so on. He should live in the big city. Baal Tanya said, no, when I said that, of course I meant it. But this Yid, it believed in it more than I believed in it. Ad kedei kach, that very day, not some making plans for some distant future. That same day, he begins to make the plans to move to the big city. So the Baal Tanya, look at the emunah pshuta, the simple faith of a simple Ukrainian Jew. That a tzaddik says something, or he even thinks of me as a tzaddik, says Baal Tanya. That tzaddik says something, and that's it. The Rebbeinu Shalom wants me to move. I'm going to move without any questions, without any hesitation. That's what emunah is. To be able to live in such a, like, you imagine if we lived in such a way where everything the Rebbeinu Shalom told us and everything the Rebbeinu Shalom tells us through a Tzadikim and through Talmidei Chachamim, we believe with such an absolute, simple, straightforward faith, like that Ukrainian Jew, that the Talmid Chacham, the Rebbe told him that he should go to the big city. He goes to the big city that very same day. Klal Yisrael, even if sometimes we have a hard time with emunah, we're ma'amina b'nei ma'amina, we have that simple faith in our bones and in our blood. Hashem should bless us. We should be zeicha to bring out that simple, natural, good, healthy Jewish faith that Ukrainian Jew had. We should find it amongst ourselves, and mamish attach ourselves to Torah and mitzvahs in a real way, without any calculations, without any cheshbainis, without any sophistication, just with absolute pshitas and tamimas. To experience that, and from there all shefa bracha v'atzlacha should come to us. And this week, in a revealed way, we be called tzedek meher v'imenu, amen.